All right, Week 2 Power Rankings. It is Tuesday, the Tuesday following Monday Night Football. Week 2 of the NFL is officially in the books. So going into Week 3, we'll give our Week 2 Power Rankings. We'll start with Jeff at number 10. Who do you got?
At number 10, here, I got it written down here. I got to go through it. Okay, so number 10, I have the Denver Broncos. And for a multitude of reasons. I get they're single-handedly being held back by Nathaniel Hackett. That's the reality. They should be 2-0 right now. You see against Seattle, they had 2 goal line fumbles and following it up against Houston. My God. I mean, it was a terrible performance. They snuck out with a victory, but they should be 2-0. Nathaniel Hackett's got to do a better job, man. He really has to. We liked Nathaniel Hackett before the season, but right now, it ain't looking too good. You want to go with your number 10 first?
Yeah, we'll go back and forth. The Niners, to me, got better on Sunday, and that's very mean to say. I hope Trey Lance recovers, but the Niners are better with Jimmy Garoppolo. And they're forcing themselves into this Trey Lance experiment. He hasn't shown any flashes. He's no better than Jordan Love has shown. Trey Lance getting hurt, super unfortunate. I think it benefits the Niners. I actually feel more confident in them. Their defense is phenomenal.
Right.
Their defense is phenomenal. I'm confident in San Francisco to really make a run this year. They were in the NFC Championship last year. They just look so much more in sync with Jimmy G as their starter. Number 9, the Minnesota Vikings, they fall, man. They fall big time for me. If there's one thing I can't, you will never be able to convince me otherwise, quarterback play. The defense on Minnesota, I took away some positives last night from their defense at times. But Kirk Cousins, the throws you made, I don't know. You were the equivalent of Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. I'm not sure what the hell you were thinking. But no team can ever overcome a performance like that. Kirk Cousins is going to need a few weeks of playing damn good football before he gets me back on board with Minnesota being a legit contender for a Super Bowl. Right now, they'll still be contenders in the NFC given how weak it is. Right. I still like the defense, the offense, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, but none of it got going. Philly's defense really stifled them. So I do have question marks right now after that performance.
For number 9, I have the Baltimore Ravens. Right now, I like the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson's having a phenomenal start to this season, but my worry with the Ravens is they're too Lamar Jackson dependent, and that's my problem. I mean, they really don't have a true number 1 receiver. The true number 1 is Mark Andrews. Rashad Bateman, he had a good game, but can you count on him from a week-to-week basis? Duvernay, can you count on him from a week-to-week basis? They don't really have a run game. So for me, I got concerns with the Baltimore Ravens, but defensively, to give up 27 in the fourth quarter to the Dolphins, like it's not a good look. So right now, I have them at 9. I know they could be 2-0, but that loss wasn't too pretty. Got them just inside the top 10.
All right, fair enough. I've got the Los Angeles Rams at 8. I can't move them any higher. I'm not confident in what the Rams are doing right now. Struggling early, allowing Atlanta. That was a free game for them. It should have been a blowout.
Right.
And they weren't able to put it away. Matthew Stafford, what is it now? 5 interceptions through 2 games.
Yeah, he's not playing good.
Not sure what the hell's going on there.
No.
They got to clean up their mistakes. The turnovers are killing them. The defense actually playing good for, if you put all the scenarios that they've been put against, all the turnovers they've had to overcome, defense has actually been pretty solid this year. But the offense, I mean, anemic. Allen Robinson finally had a decent showing, so that was good. Cam Akers looked a little bit explosive. So the Rams are a team, to me, you probably won't see start picking up momentum until week 7, week 8. I just think they're going to need a lot of time before we even have a conversation about them ever entering the top 5 again.
And I have the the Minnesota Vikings at 8. It was tough. I mean, all these teams, especially when teams are 1-1, you got to, pull hairs a little bit and just decide what's going to be the deciding factor. For me, Minnesota, they beat Green Bay. They have an ugly loss last night, but I still like the roster. I still think they're a much more complete team than even the Ravens. Like defensively, yeah, the Ravens have more talent, but offensively, the Vikings are just better. It's just about Kirk Cousins and what he can do. I don't know what I'm getting out of Kirk from a week-to-week basis, but if I'm getting a week 1 Kirk, this is a top 10 team. Didn't have him in my top 10 last week, but with the New Orleans Saints and the loss and how Jameis Winston looked in the fourth quarter, like I get, both games are kind of comparable in terms of how their quarterback looked, but I'm ultimately going to go back to Minnesota. I mean, I have more faith in what they're doing. We'll see, though. I'm still very early in the season, but that's what put me the edge over having Minnesota.
You got the Rams at 7?
I do. I mean, the Rams, I get they're not playing well, but they still have all the talent in the world. It's not necessarily about a lack of talent. It's something, going on, especially defensively. Like, they just look soft. I don't know how to explain it. I got the Rams in there at 7. How I decided it is I think they'll beat, if they played 8, 9, and 10 right now, they'd beat all 3 of those teams, I think. So I have them at 7, but they slid quite some time, and they were number 2 at our first power ranking. Now they're 7 for me.
Yeah, Baltimore falls from 3 to 7 for me. They really showed a lot of great qualities against the Miami Dolphins. Mm-hmm. But that late second half surge by Miami and their defense, all the busted coverage, they have to clean it up. I still think Baltimore is one of the better teams in the NFL, so they'll sit there at 7. It gets really close now between you and me from this point on. Top 6, I've got Miami at 6, the Chargers at 5. We agree on Miami at 6, Jeff. Phenomenal performance, huge win, great comeback. They're 2-0, top of their division. The offense looks explosive. The defense shaky at times. Mike McDaniel, not bad start to his NFL career.
No, and I'm with you. I had him in my top 10 week 1, and it was controversy. And see people, why do you have Miami in your top 10? 2 of this, 2 of that. They're 2-0 now. And you saw what Tua looked like, especially in the fourth quarter. They deserve to be in this top 10. I have them at number 6. I have no problem with it. I like what they're doing so far. We'll see how they trend as the season ends, but as of right now, there's no doubt they're a top 6 team.
All right, your team that was in the top 10 from week 1, now up to 5, Philly.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Philly is, you watched the game last night. They are one of, and I said this, I've been saying this, preaching this for weeks. They have a Super Bowl roster. That roster, if you had any other quarterback, there would be no question. Oh, this team's a Super Bowl contender. The real question is Jalen Hurts, and he played a phenomenal game yesterday. I know he threw an interception, but overall, the Philadelphia Eagles, they got a lot of talent. They do, and they're definitely a top 5 roster in the NFL. So no question, they deserve to be up there.
So the issue I have with Philly isn't really an issue. I think they're better than even what you think right now. That performance last night was quite the message to the NFC. You show me any NFC team right now, you could only argue the Bucs because of Brady and the experience, but Brady isn't even playing all that well. And that's what killed me on this list. But before I get to Philly, Chargers at 5 for me. Mm-hmm. I think they showed a lot of good things against Kansas City. They fell apart. It was on the road. I'm not going to punish them too hard for it. Kansas City deserves all the credit, but I still think the Chargers are a top 5 team. The Philadelphia Eagles for me at 4. I don't have a choice but to put them there. I really don't. Hell of a performance last night. They beat the Vikings, who I think are contenders in the NFC. There was a lot of good qualities. Darius Slay, hell of a performance. The defense for Philly is just unbelievable. Jalen Hurts really playing at an MVP level. He's making it happen with his legs. Watch out for Jalen Hurts, man. You were 100% right on this before the season started so far.
Yeah, and I want to say, too, with the reasoning I have for the Chargers at 4 and the Eagles at 5 is I had to really look at who the Chargers faced, and they looked like the better team against the Chiefs. They lost. They didn't have Keenan Allen. But overall, that's not a performance I'm going to look at the Chargers and be like, all right, they're terrible. Like, no, this team is still top 5 to me. I think right now if they play the Eagles, I would probably go with the Chargers if you had Keenan Allen healthy. So I'm going to go with the Chargers slightly over the Eagles, although the record's different. I get it. But, Jeff, they're 2-0. How are they behind the Chargers? I think the Chargers, listen, you were about a couple plays away, a pick 6 away specifically from being 2-0. So I'm not going to go too hard on the Chargers. They're definitely a top 4 team to me. I'm still pretty high on them.
All right, top 3, we both agree. Bucks, Chiefs, Bills in that order.
Yeah.
I do have concerns with the Bucks. Unfortunately, they are 2-0. I find it difficult to rate the Bucks right now. Tom Brady is struggling. I don't like what I'm seeing offensively out of this team.
No.
But their defense is as advertised so far.
That's the reality of it. I mean, defensively alone, they deserve to be in the top 5. Offensively, I know they have some stuff they got to work out, but still, you're winning games. And that's the thing you got to take away from it. You go to New Orleans, you beat the New Orleans Saints, a team that I had in my top 10 last week at 10. So I got to give credit where it's due. Putting the Bucs at number 3. I mean, the teams behind them, you're 2-0, and they've looked pretty good doing it. So got to give the Bucs credit.
All right, fair enough.